The soft, golden light of dawn broke over the ancient land of Hebron, touching the rolling hills with a quiet serenity. Yet, in Abraham's tent, there was no peace. A mysterious silence had settled, broken only by the whispered prayers of the patriarch Abraham, as he knelt beside the still form of Sarah, his beloved wife. Sarah, the woman who had laughed at the promise of God and then bore a son in her old age, was now gone. She had lived a full 127 years, but her death struck Abraham's heart with a sorrow that words could not express. And Sarah died in Kirjath Arba, that is, Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Genesis 23 verse 2. After mourning, Abraham arose. Though his heart was broken, his faith remained steadfast. He needed a place to lay Sarah to rest. In humility, he approached the Hittites, the people of the land, and said, "I am a foreigner and a visitor among you. Give me property for a burial place among you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight." Genesis 23 verse 4. The Hittites, recognizing Abraham's integrity and God's favor upon him, replied, "Hear us, my lord, you are a mighty prince among us, bury your dead in the choicest of our burial places." Genesis 23 verse 6. But Abraham insisted on purchasing a specific piece of land, the cave of Machpelah, owned by Ephron the Hittite. Ephron, standing among his people at the city gate, initially offered it freely. Yet Abraham, seeking fairness, insisted on paying its full value. The negotiation was public and respectful. Finally, Ephron named a price, 400 shekels of silver, a sum Abraham immediately weighed and handed over. So the field of Ephron which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was in it, and all the trees that were in the field, which were within all the surrounding borders, were deeded to Abraham. Genesis 23 verses 17 to 18. With the deed secured, Abraham prepared Sarah's burial. The field and cave of Machpelah, a place shaded by ancient oaks and overlooking the serene hills of Hebron, would become the resting place of the matriarch of God's covenant people. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, that is, Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Genesis 23 verse 19. This was not just a burial, it was a prophetic act. The land Abraham purchased would become the first foothold of his descendants in the land God promised, a tangible sign of God's faithfulness. The story of Genesis 23 is a profound testament to faith and legacy. Even in the face of loss, Abraham's actions reflect his unwavering trust in God's promises. The purchase of the cave of Machpelah is more than a transaction, it is a declaration that God's promises are enduring, even beyond death. This chapter reminds us to hold on to God's promises, trusting that every act of faith is part of a divine tapestry that spans generations.